If Texas runs the table and wins the Big 12 championship, do they make the college football playoff? Look at the faces out there. I haven't even begun to give my answer and people are screaming already. So let me read it one more time. They run the table, okay? So Texas is a 2-loss team. They win the Big 12 championship. Do they make the playoff? Let me first state the obvious. With 2 losses, there is nothing Texas could do from this point forward that puts their playoff fate in their own hands. That doesn't mean they can't make the playoff, but if they do, several things have to fall their way. Okay, and that's with them going undefeated and win the Big 12 championship. No 2-loss team has ever made it. Jesse was telling me earlier today, we've had several 2-loss conference champs even. So we've had some 1-loss teams that didn't make it, much less all the 2-loss teams. So for Texas to do this, they'd have to be the first to ever be able to pull this off. Now, if someone's going to pull it off, candidly, it would be a team in this situation. Because here's what I think I could see. I'm not predicting this, not a prediction, but I could see if Texas were to end up running this schedule, and I'll tell you what, Colin, I told you to wait, but go ahead and throw Texas' schedule up. So to give you an idea of what they have left, they got Iowa State this week. Okay, they got a lineup of ranked teams coming up. In fact, after this week, every remaining team I have power rated top 25. The AP's got 4 of them in the top 20. So they go at Oklahoma State, at Kansas State, TCU, at Kansas, and Baylor. So if they were to beat all those teams, they've got an ultra impressive resume. They've got 2 early losses. One of them is to Bama by 1 point without Quinn Ewers most of the game. They lost at Texas Tech without Quinn Ewers. So here's what that would sound like. Follow me here. I don't care if you hate Texas. Follow me here. Let's say the 2 things happen. The first is chaos, nationwide chaos. And so we don't have that nice, neat pack of undefeated conference champs, because if that happens, this is a moot point. But if we get some chaos and we just got maybe 1 or 2 locks and then there's just madness behind them, imagine someone on Selection Sunday saying, Texas is the hottest team in the country right now. They do have 2 losses. One of them is to presumably an Alabama team maybe that's in the playoff by 1 point. They were without their backup, or they were without their quarterback. So what we're asking ourselves is, how much do we measure the 2 losses versus the clear team that Texas is now, being a different product than they were without their quarterback? Oh, and by the way, in this scenario, there are no clear 3s and 4s, or maybe there's not a clear 4, and Texas has won a conference championship in this scenario. Yes, it's possible. It's an outside shot, and as I said, other stuff has to happen. It doesn't matter if they win every game by 50. Other stuff has to happen for them. But if all that other stuff starts to happen, that's not out of the realm of possibility. But you know what has to take place? And it was baked into the question, but what has to take place is just that. They have to win the remainder of their games. And that is a tough stretch. Colin, show me that schedule one more time. I know that everyone looks at these games, and in any individual game, Texas will be favored. I think they may be favored the rest of the way. But my goodness, I mean, they've got to play at Oklahoma State next week. Now, I think it's going to freak some people out that Texas, with 2 losses, is going to be favored in Stillwater, even if Oklahoma State's undefeated. You are what your record says you are. Crowd is going to be freaked out by that. They go to Kansas State. They do have a bye, though, between Oklahoma State and Kansas State. But TCU playing red-hot football right now at Kansas, Baylor, and that's a tough stretch. Even if they're playing it at maximum efficiency, that's a tough stretch. But if they get through that, they'll have an ultra-impressive resume. They'll be red-hot. Those losses will be in the past. If I were a Texas representative, I would say, hey, maybe we shouldn't have scheduled Bama. Maybe we should have scheduled another FCS opponent. If you just care about our record, to me, personally, I think a 1-loss or a 1-point loss against one of the best teams in the country is actually a feather in our cap with our backup quarterback. But hey, if we are what our record says we are, whatever, I'd make that argument. I would turn their logic against them. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't leave yet. Don't leave yet. Make sure you like the video and please subscribe to the channel. Not just for me, that's how we keep this entire thing free.